Whiskey level.
It's probably just gone down the end, right? We don't have two Sarah Patters, so we can't leave without finding them. They're probably in a bin or something.
Okay.
Sarah Patter, two
Circular lead.
The little,
Gave you two of them.
yeah, I put them into a box.
3 coats for missing.
Did your three, two have put in that box?
No.
Okay, so that box was moved.
Yeah, it's down the end.
I will go and do a quick.
Well, fine. Here, here.
Is it just one thing?
Actually, moved here, so then I would move that there one. Keep it here. I think that's just one seam thing. Yeah, it's wood.
Have you ever seen the...
Shows rising.
Front row, front row. How are you?
No, we
Everybody gets one. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Hello. I got my car. What a treat, what a treat. Yeah, look at.
Alright, I'll get my phone now.
Yeah. 2 pedals bars.
Yeah, there's some really
Some really nice ones. Those were the pedals bar.
yeah. The raffle is going to close in like 5-10 minutes.
Okay, I already have like yeah.
You can like 100 tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one like Pep showed them yesterday.
And they were going to keep you, I have to tear you away from the bar.
I'm going to put this here, and then you can just make sure if it looks tight with the light and whatnot, and then we'll just have it like.
So, like I say, do you have a backup charger?
I don't.
So I would suggest when we get to half time,
Plug in the charger.
I forgot to bring one.
I have a charger over there. You have the dual split cable, so yeah, we can do that. Cool. Okay, I'm just going to drop it right so I can. No, it doesn't have a drop price. Okay, cool. But look, my battery's at 96%. Alright, there it goes. And you'll be able to see the audio from here. These two levels.
Let me go.
Do you like to stir it? I've dropped the brightness of that, so it should
Do I need the?
I set it to public, so you should be. It might not be in live.
Test.
Yeah, miss that now. How are we doing? We're still missing 2 of our presenters. I'm relatively assured they're in the building having a pint, but you know they're not up to like number 2 or number 3, so you have to listen to my dulcet tones for a couple of minutes while we get started. I'm going to do the boring thing right now because we've got someone from the Capuchin Day Centre. We've got our own Petter here, Whiskey Petter. Do the boring thing and say there are 8 whiskies on your mat. Some of them very high strength. There's also water there. It's a very hot day. Please drink some of the water. Please drink some, and don't say, well, it's 60% alcohol, so that's 40% water. I don't want to hear that. I will say that hello to our folks online. We have someone monitoring the chat. They will be able to, if you ask questions, we'll be able to relay them onto the guys. But I mean, without further ado, I'm not going to pass it to Petter. I will be passing it to Caroline from the Capuchin Day Centre. I will say the raffle, all those wonderful prizes donated, some of the people in this room, myself, Petter, some of the guys online as well, Jack, there's loads of whiskey. If you want to buy tickets, I'm going to be closing the raffle sales in about 5 minutes or so. For the presenters here who haven't bought tickets, if you want to buy tickets, I think you guys have already. I'll sort you out at the break. Great. Everyone else, 5 minutes, buy your tickets, and we'll close it. What we'll do with the raffle at the end, it'll be you come up and you get on our website. No. If you're a member, buy them online. Oh, guests. I'll sort you out at the halfway break. But if you're a member, I don't want to type all your names in. They're on the website. There's a discount. Guys, a second. Come on. They're on the website. They're €5 for one, or it's a discount if you buy 5 tickets. There's loads of wonderful prizes. How we'll run it is at the end we'll do a randomizer. You come up and get your prize. There won't be any horse trading of I already have the Muscatel. Can I have that instead? You get the prize allotted. If you want to swap in the room, you can, but you get what you get. For those online, for other members, we'll hold on to the prizes and let you collect them or sort out delivery later on in the week or later on in the month, depending on if you're coming to a future tasting. Does that all sound good? I think the aircon has finally, blessedly, kicked on. So we'll pass over to our Capuchin Day Centre representative, who we are very happy to support. And can we get a quick round of applause? You can hold it if you want.
I can hold it. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I have 2 pages here to get through, so there's plenty of time to buy your raffle tickets. It's very large print, otherwise I wouldn't be able to read it. But anyway, look, I've been corresponding with Petter and Matt, and we were delighted at the Capuchin Day Centre to have the support again this year from our friends at the Irish Whiskey Society. And when they very kindly extended an invitation, I thought I'd take the opportunity just to say a few words of thanks. The Capuchin Day Centre, as many of you may know, is just down the road along the Lewis tracks to Smithfield, and it was founded by Brother Kevin Crowley, a Capuchin Franciscan friar, after he saw some people searching for food to eat from a rubbish bin. For 57 years now, the Capuchin Day Centre has opened its doors to welcome people seeking support, and its services have developed over that time to meet the evolving needs of the community of people experiencing or at risk of homelessness, hunger or hardship in the city. And we've been so fortunate to have the support of our friends at Irish Whiskey Society for a good number of years now. By organising this fundraiser, by being in the room tonight, by sitting at home and participating, by donating this vast array of raffle prizes, the samples that you're tasting, you're helping provide access to hot meals. In fact, 1,000 hot meals a day across breakfast and lunch, Monday to Saturday. You're helping provide access to food parcels, and that means close to 1,500 families are helped to put a meal on the table where they otherwise might struggle to do that. And whilst meeting that immediate need of hunger and nourishment is so important for many of our guests, it often also provides an opportunity for connection. And that connection can start a conversation that can lead to other meaningful supports for our guests. So whether that's referring them into other relevant services or referring them into other supports that we have on site in our centre. So we have hot showers, we can provide baby care essentials, infant formula, nappies through our family supports, and they can also avail of healthcare services that are in our centre. So that includes an optometrist and a dentist. And I have a lovely story about the dentist, which is not something you can say very often. And I heard this story on my first day in the day centre, which was last September, really. And it stuck with me since. I was wandering around and I was meeting everyone, and I bumped into our nurse walking through the dining room, and she was just walking on air. She was delighted. She was so happy. And she started to explain that she had just been with a lady who had first come into the centre a few weeks previously and had been in a bad way. She was very kind of low, very timid, very withdrawn. She wouldn't meet anybody in the eye. And look, we don't know what circumstances bring people to our door. Some guests, they'll volunteer it, but we don't ask. It doesn't matter. We're all really only one misfortune away from being in the same place. So look, it really doesn't matter. But anyway, this lady on her first visit was identified that she needed some quite extensive dental work done, and our dentist was going to sort that out. So there was a series of appointments this lady came into with our dentist, and as it transpired, I had met our nurse just following this lady's final appointment at the dentist, and she'd got her new teeth. And the nurse had, sorry, I do get a wee bit emotional. The nurse had just left her, and she had been looking at her new smile in the mirror and smiling and chatting, and she met our nurse in the eye and said, "Now I can look for a job." So, like, that's the power of support, your support this evening. We can't do that without people like you. So look, a final word of thanks to everyone involved this evening. We really couldn't do it without your help. And I am leaving a little treat for everyone at my table because I can't stay. I have to pick my 13-year-old up from Tamangos later. So there's a glass for everyone, I think, at the table. So look, thank you and have a smashing evening. Thanks so much for your support.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
So I can see our errand yeah, so we're going to hand over to Pepper now in a second to give you the odyssey of how this tasting came to be, how he wrangled all these people into the room to actually donate whiskey, donate the prizes, and then we'll get on to our actual tasting. But I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who's bought the prizes. I think last I saw we were just under 5,000 euro. We're just over it now with probably extra tickets bought now. I'd say we might be at 5,500. You've heard the incredibly difficult work that the Captain Day Centre does, that the changes they can make to people's lives. It's not just homeless people, it's people in medical need. It's really, really important work. But I think Peter has more to say about that than me, so I'll stop talking and we'll hand it over.
All right. Straight down.
You can clip it.
All right. She's very quiet. So hello. Hello. Hi, my name is Peter or Pep. It's a long story with the two names, but I would like to welcome everybody here, committee members, presenters, all the brand ambassadors, everybody, and everybody who donated the prizes, the people online, very generous. And obviously Caroline and the Capuchins. Main reason we are here. When I was offered to host this event, I said, why we don't do it as something like give back, so for a charity, and the feedback was 100%. So when I asked any of the brands or the guys, it was 100% yes, we are in, which is brilliant. So I'm a little bit nervous from shitting myself because I usually sit over there. I'm not really used to this. Yeah, with the Capuchin Center, I had a friend. He died. He passed away with the cancer, but he used to go there and always had a meal, chat, spent 3 hours there. So he always said how the guys works, and it's unbelievable. So that's why we're doing this. So it's kind of in honor of him as well. And for the brands and everybody, thanks very much, because it's 80 people here and 40 people online. That's 3 bottles, which is a lot. So we have kind of guys with a smaller production, bigger production. So it's a lot, 3 bottles. So probably the guys with the small production have a voodoo doll and just kind of get me there. Really, thanks very much for coming. I am nervous, isn't I? So, well, myself, I'm not distiller or anything. I have over 20 years in hospitality in background. I'm not there anymore, but as a distilling, our family, let's say homemade for 150 years. Right, this is one of these. This is 2004. Our family. Right, we don't put these in a cask, so if you fuck it up at the start, you're not gonna fix it. You give it to your mother-in-law, whatever, you know. So anybody want to taste, or just if it's here. So this is so this is 23-year-old, but obviously it doesn't age. It's how we make it, how it is. So yeah, that's kind of the background what I have, and we're gonna go just drink the whiskey, isn't it?
Yeah. All right.
Sorry, first one, yeah. Okay, so first one here, we have can you give me the bottle? So the first one we go with the Carnlough, which is on Antrim coast. Anybody been to the Whiskey Hotel, the First Irish Whiskey Hotel? Oh, brilliant, Trevor. Yeah. So it's some place, and it's owned by Adrian McLaughlin, Darren McNally, which is the guys behind this whiskey. We had a chance to go there last year before they released their first whiskey. We were invited there and know what's going on there, but we had a tour of the hotel, and then we have a kind of blank paper with the names, what they're going to release, that including Outwalker as well. And we had a lower IBV, high IBV, and we kind of gave them notes, what we think, and everything about this. We were told about this, everything behind this, basically. Like, they're really transparent. They don't hide anything. They tell you where is it from, what they do with it. They show you. You go to the hotel. They have a room full of casks. They give you sample from the cask. They tell you what it is. We got a 24-year Madeira cask and all this. So they trying to it's a small village, so they're trying to bring the people in. Even they have 2 boats, so you can hire the boats, or say 6 people, and they bring you to Campbelltown, they bring you to Islay, they bring you to Scotland. You can spend day over, go to distilleries in Scotland. And so obviously, so Adrian is the hotelier behind. That's the knowledge behind the hotel and everything. A big fan of whiskey. And Daryl, about 20 years in Bushmills and then the Liberties, I think, down here. And so he's really experienced distiller, and he's behind the Limavady, which is in their portfolio as well. So what they do with this will be released, I think, in 3 weeks, but they still kind of thinking about it, how to put it together. This is blend of single malt and single pot still. As a single malt is GND, is a 6-year-old, but the malt is 20%, is 24-year-old Cooley. So and they still playing with it. He just texted me today, they still don't know. In 3 weeks, that might taste a little bit different. It just, they tell you everything how it is. So they are export on boats, and then in Tonyport, quarter cask, blend together. And, so that's what it is. And it's 46%. So in three weeks, you'll be able to order, I think, on their website. It won't be in any retailers. It will be first he said 115, but it will be 140 bottles, around something like that. Or if you go to the hotel, stay in a hotel, they have all this. You can pour your own bottle. You can label it. You can do whatever you want with it. They let you do basically anything. It's really, really kind of cool place. Lay down. They have a big room full of whiskey, full of whiskey.
And this is the name of the hotel.
Oh, the Harbour View. Harbour View.
Harbour View Hotel.
Yes, the first whiskey hotel.
in Carnlough. And we have an overnight stay as one of the prizes.
Yes, yes. Yeah, they donated. And we're going back in August. Looking at my wife's face, I forgot to say that, but we're going, I think it's 15th of August, we're going there. And they have the whiskey festival as well, I think starting that week or next week, I'm not sure. So anybody like going there, the drive to hotel is amazing on the coast. So I have to say, anybody wants to go, brilliant place. I wouldn't bring kids though. It's all about whiskey. It's all about whiskey, like, you know. So
What do we think of it?
let's drink it anyway.
It's rare enough that we get so many different brand ambassadors from different whiskey kind of corners of the world. What do you guys think of it? We've got distillers, we've got brand ambassadors, we've got guys who just fucking love drinking. None of you know who I'm talking about. Michael.
I'm definitely not the worst at this end. I'm driving,
Did you say this is a young pot still and old single malt?
Yeah, it's a 6-year-old, but there is 24-year-old single malt.
It kind of comes through on the...
Yeah, I think it's very creamy with the pot still in, and it's like kind of. I know it's kind of sound weird, but the Black Forest Gatto, it's the chocolate cream, you know, and all the kind of the dark berries and all. Yeah, yes. Pot still spiced, and then you go with the 24-year-old. It's kind of like it's really really nice blend, I have to say. What do you think? You're good? We're starting now low, 46%, and it's gonna go much higher. But from my experience there, when we had that tasting, and I'm a big fan of higher ABV, but some of the samples were only like 2%, maybe 1.5%. I think Adrian is watching, so he would maybe correct me online. And we didn't know. We just kind of wrote on a paper, and in few kind of examples, like there was, I picked the lower one, and I'm high ABV like fan. I picked the lower one, and it was only 1%, 2%. So it does make a difference. But this is 46. I know that's what I'm saying. We're gonna go higher. So yeah, we're gonna roll out of this place probably. So we go for next.
I'm so sorry.
We go for next one, yeah? Or is it going? Yeah?
Like, we don't need to rush through it.
No, what's the pace? I thought that's what
I
I'm
think with
saying.
the base, but we got.
Do you have any questions or anything?
Does anyone have any questions on it?
Yeah. Malt, yeah. It's a 20% in that bottle, 20% of that. Tony, you have two questions per brand, right? 2 questions per brand. Yeah. Anything online or anything?
No questions yet.
All right. So we go with.
We'll go with the next is.
Mick. Okay, so we go with the next one.
Yeah, we good?
Cameras there. So
Hell yeah.
Cameron doesn't like the camera.
Good evening, everyone. All right, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Michael Kelman. So I am the co-owner of Redacted Independent Bottlers. So co-owner of Redacted Independent Bottlers, we also run a small whiskey fest down in Wexford called the Southeast Whiskey Fest. So I'm just like I don't know if anyone knows Larry Collins, I'm like a better looking version of Larry Collins, you know what I mean? So hope he's watching. But yeah, so I was delighted to be asked to do this tonight. Got to know Pep over the last few years through whiskey. We did a lot of stuff. He's very generous with his time when it comes to charities and stuff as well. I do a lot of fundraising from November, and Pep was always kind of very willing to help out, jump in the sea with me and jump around, raise a few quid over the years as well. So that's brilliant. I just about made the tasting here this evening. I was in Hong Kong yesterday. Stephen McGuinness picked me up at the airport on the way down and made me go to the bank for dinner because he said he hadn't been in for a while. So he dragged me in there. So that's why we were a little bit late. So my apologies. Yeah, they'll tell you about it. Yeah. It was very tough. I actually did get stuck. I'm actually giving a taste in here. If you want. So the idea tonight. So I'm going to bring you through the nagging, right? So my kind of story and my history with whiskey. For those of you who haven't met me before, I got into whiskey. Started working in whiskey about 10 years ago, probably got into whiskey about 15 years ago. I used to be a member of the Defence Forces. I was an officer in the Navy, in the Irish Navy. I got really into whiskey when I was in the Navy. I wouldn't be the first sailor to fall in love with alcohol, I suppose. But I joined the Cork Whisky Society, and I know the lads quite well for a long time. And they were very instrumental in me getting into whiskey. And so at the time, you know, you had distillers, guys working in all the various distilleries and the trade and whatever, got really into whiskey and said, this is something that I kind of want to get into, don't want to be in the Defence Forces for the rest of my life. This is kind of what I want to do. So about 10 years ago, started working for Irish Distillers, and then worked a little bit for Sazerac, now work for a company called Good Spirits Bottling. But on the side, myself and a buddy of mine, Ronan Collins, we did enjoy going for a few drinks and going to various whiskey distilleries, and we used to drink a lot of independently bottled scotch. And we were kind of sitting there one night and we were saying, you know, there's not a huge amount of independent bottlers in Ireland. Why is that the case? And I suppose, look, there wasn't as many distilleries, so there wasn't as many casks floating around the place at the time. But we always felt that some of the most interesting stuff that we tasted was independently bottled scotch, because you were sometimes getting a unique snapshot of a cask that someone had put a bit of a twist on from various distilleries or lesser known distilleries. And we kind of sat down one night and we said, you know, how hard could it be? It's quite difficult, actually, as a lot of the lads here will tell you. And so about 3 years ago, we came up with the concept for Redacted, all right? So Redacted, independent bottlers. So this is our 6th release. So we've done, our first one was a Cologne, we've done a Blackwater, that was a 700, we did a Blackwater 700ml, we've done a Dingle 700ml, we did a Cooley Naggin, 20-year-old single grain Barolo Cooley Naggin, and this is our second Naggin, and then we did another small release for kind of a private customer as well. But this is our 6th release, so we're really happy with this one, and what we're trying to do with Redacted, the whole idea behind the name, is that similarly to what the guys are talking about, we're all about transparency. So we want to give you as much information as we possibly can. So I guess it's a bit of a challenge to, at the time in whiskey, there was a lot of people maybe not giving you the information, not telling you where the casks were coming from, not maybe giving you all the full picture. And we wanted to put that on its head a little bit, and insofar as we can, want to tell you everything we possibly can. And so the idea with the 700ml bottles is we get a local artist to the distillery where it's from to work with us on the art, so we're supporting local artists with that. And with the Naggins, we just kind of want to put really cool stuff in the Naggin format. So Ireland drinks the most Naggins per capita in the world. Most of them are about €7 bottles of vodka. But we wanted to, again, just challenge, Glen, a fine vodka, nothing wrong with that. But we wanted to challenge that a little bit, turn that a little bit on its head. And kind of do something cool. So the first one, like I mentioned, was a 20-year-old Cooley. That was €45. And this is our second release, which we just brought out with the guys in Boan. Been really, really well received. Released it about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And so this is a 5-year-old, single pot still, 50-50 mash bill from Boan, aged in Forêt de Tronquay casks. And so Forêt de Tronquay, so it's from France. I'm trying not to be too loquacious. Sorry, I'm trying not to say too many words, Polly. But Forêt de Tronquay. So you may have heard of that cask before. Middleton did a Forêt de Tronquay cask. We haven't received a legal letter yet from Middleton, so I assume we're allowed to call it that. But it just means it's really, really good French oak. And so the team up in Boan they were fantastic with us. We went up to Peter Cooney and we said, Peter, what can we have from the warehouse? You know, we want to do something. We kind of want to hit this price point on a Naggin. He was like, really like what you're doing. Go into the warehouse, pick what you want. And so we were looking at, they have some mad stuff. I really believe that Boan from a wood perspective, like the amount of stuff they have in the warehouse is incredible. Like, and the releases they have, the pipeline coming is unreal. And we said, we just want for the naggin, we want to put something really, really good in a bottle and be able to give it to people for about 30 quid. And so we tasted this. He had about 14 different iterations of this, and we tasted this one particular cask. So we have about 1,300 bottles of this because we bottled off the whole cask as naggins, and we were really, really delighted with this. Will you throw me up my Polly, actually? We were really, really delighted with this. So we obviously got it at cask strength, and we reduced down the ABV to 42.5% ABV. So Ronan, who is ex-Dandelion, has worked in the world's top 50 bars around the world, that kind of thing, works as a whiskey consultant, so he's very much the palate side of things. And he kind of worked it down and did the tastings and stuff, and we came down to 42.5%, and we're really happy with this. So if you haven't already, give it a little nose, give it a little taste. I'm not too prescriptive on tasting notes because I think as soon as I say something, you're going to taste it anyway, you know what I mean? So, mangoes. So the thing about when you're working with really good French oak, I think you get a huge depth of complexity because they are like old oak forests and stuff that are there. And I think even if you look at any of the new growth oak over the years, you can see the rings are much wider apart, whereas with the old oak forest, you're getting much tighter growth in terms of the rings, more complexity, more development of the oak and the wood over the years. And so I think just a classic French oak style whiskey can be phenomenal in terms of the depth of flavour you get. So sláinte. That's brilliant. And so we've done a few different releases. So like we did a Cologne, which I think was 60.8% or something. Yeah, something similar to, and the Cooley again, the Cooley 20-year-old grain was about 53% ABV. So we wanted to bring this one down, make it a little bit more approachable, democratize it a little bit so that if you're going out, the whole idea with the naggins is if you're going to a concert, if you're going out, if you're going to a wedding, you need some gifts or a groomsman or something, or you're going to see Taylor Swift, whatever it is, you can stick it in the back pocket. And like it's there to be drank, and I think getting this down to 30 quid was a challenge for us, that we can put this on the shelves with great retailers, and it was a challenge to get it down to that, but we're really delighted we did. So yeah, I guess the idea with the brand going forward is we're going to continue to source as many different variety of as many different casks as you can. We're probably at the moment we've only done Irish whiskey, but there's definitely appetite to grow that out and do some other stuff as well. But at the moment two of us are just part-time on the brand as well. So you just need to buy more so we can do it full-time. That'd be great. Yeah. And it is available tonight if anybody needs it. It's in the back pocket here, But yeah, so that's I won't take up too much time. But look, yeah, we'll go. Which ones? James Fox's are fantastic, really, here we have it at the moment. And then James Fox's, Celtic, Irish malts, Black Rock Cellars. I'm going to forget people and they're going to give out to me. But Kerry O'Killarney, yeah, there's a lot. We have it on our own website as well. I have it in a box here if you've 30 quid on you. I'm not joking, like I'm serious, yeah. So. Cash price is also €30, but you don't have to pay the shipping. You don't have to pay the shipping, and I'll sign it for you. I'll sign it for you for free. Yeah, that actually makes it worth less.
Are you going to start blending?
I
think as whiskey lovers, we have collections at home, big bottles, and it's hard to keep up and go through them all.
Yeah.
So is there a reason why you use them for that?
Well, for the 200?
Yeah.
It was just to give more people an opportunity to taste something really good at an affordable price point, I guess. Bringing it down to 30 quid and the previous one at 45, you're kind of saying, when do you get a 20-year-old grain whiskey at €45? And I know it's a small amount of it, but it just allows people to go in and go, do you know what, I'll have that, not feel too bad about having it over a weekend or whatever. And similarly with this one, and we found that it's a bit more of an impulse purchase. They're going, go on then, like 30 quid isn't too bad. And it just puts good whiskey in the hands of more people as well, Yeah.
Are you going to start blending?
We do, so we have done some of the blending, and I suppose the idea, and where I think we differ from independent bottlers versus like a bonder, like the likes of your JJ Corrie or your WD O'Connell, these kind of guys, they're essentially taking casks and they're creating something new of those. You know, what we're trying to do is highlight some of the most interesting things from the distilleries or the stuff we really like. So we're very much, and that's very much, we work with those distilleries and highlight the character of the distilleries and kind of, you know, we're very much about the transparency. So getting the distillery on the front of the label and stuff, and highlighting them but showcasing them. And I suppose we've done some of the cask finishing and stuff. We'd be selecting the cask, we'd do some of the blending, but we don't want to overly blend too much because I think for the moment it's very much about highlighting each distillery for each release. Yeah.
Boan themselves are close to ready for something in the cask?
There might be someone from Boan in the room who can answer that for you. I think, listen, I think they have such a pipeline of stuff that, and they do so many single cask releases and stuff for people all around the world that I'm sure they probably are. But it's, as you can taste tonight, it's ready. So I mean, they can do that. I would imagine they are, yeah. But to be honest, if you've ever done the tour of the warehouse, the amount of stuff they have in there is incredible. So just even picking what to release is hard, like, you know. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm conscious we have a lot of whiskies to go through, so I will leave it at that. But like I say, if I know some of you have ordered, so come up and pick it up after me afterwards. And if anybody does want some, we have that. We have the previous release and stuff as well. Cash, Revolut, Bitcoin, whatever you want. All right, thank you very much.
Just as a quick note, some of the presenters here, they do have other engagements to get to. I know we're not the most important thing in the world. So we are going to be moving not across the top of the mat. We're going to be going to the bottom left. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Understand? So we're going to go to Dunville's Celtic Whisky Shop exclusive at 54.5%. So drink some water.
Do you have subtitles on the...
I love how this is being recorded, like literally for forever.
Yeah. I was going to say something nice about him. There's not many ginger lads brave enough to have 2 buttons up and a shirt like that. And a shark tooth on his very cheap necklace.
We're going to pause for effect.
Yeah. I do think though, guys, that like what Michael and Ronan are doing is what Irish whiskey needs. I mean, we're stuck in the world of everything is 150 quid, and you don't get to try great whiskey when it's 150 quid because in today's world, no one has that type of money to be spending on every single release. So when you have these bottles, but more to the point that he's 100% right, when you can try Indie Scotch for 60 quid and it could be some of the best whiskey that you have in the market. And it's that the Scotch whiskey industry is so, I don't want to say they're collaborative because they all love each other. I think it's probably the nastiest industry out there out of them all. But they're collaborative because they have to work. They all have million-litre LPA distilleries and they have to share stock. And they're more than happy to be selling 12, 15, 18, 20-year-old Scotch barrels to independent bottlers. Where in Ireland, we probably don't have that yet. We're probably stuck in the ways of, sure, our whiskey's the best in the world. Why would we want to be giving it to Michael to make loads of money?
The phone is getting picked up a lot more these days.
It's funny, Ben had said, are you doing a release one? I was like, he's never fucking rang us. But yeah, so like in fairness, people like Michael are the reason why you're getting to try these whiskies at affordable prices and getting to try releases that necessarily you wouldn't buy because they're probably too expensive in another bottle. So as much as he's a prick, he's
Tell us what you really think.
I'd say there wasn't many jumping to your defense here, Michael.
And you have a whiskey too, Stephen.
Yeah. So this one we're going to go on to, guys, is a 14-year-old single malt, a matured in Policatato sherry cask, and it'll be an exclusive bottling that's coming out in Whiskey Live for Celtic Whisky Shop. So the big, like with Dunville's, we went through an era where we were, I don't want to say famous, but people knew us for 12, 13, 14-year-old single casks, very sherry single malts. And then all of a sudden we had all these like 7, 8-year finishes at 21-year-old, 22-year-old, 23-year-old, 24-year-old. And no one outside of Middleton was really doing that in Ireland. So we kind of went into, I always laugh that with the guys in the distillery, we become the luxury age statement value bottling. When you have a 25-year-old whiskey under 500 quid, I mean, who would have ever thought we'd be a value? But yeah, but over the last while, we've started to release these younger casks again. And this is, for me, you can drink a 25-year-old and it's some of the best whiskey you'll ever try in your life. But I think these types of whiskies are the most enjoyable of what we have in our warehouse. And with this one, it's as everyone in the room was probably tried PX Sherry, like Dunville's PX Sherry. And with PX Sherry, we were the first people in Ireland to use PX Sherry casks. And it always goes back to Shane. I wish it was this great marketing ploy where it was like, let's use PX Sherry because it sounds great and it's going to taste amazing. His first thing was like, well, how do we bring Dunville's back to an era of what it was? It was once the world's biggest distillery. It was once the biggest whiskey brand in the world. What have we got to do to get the recognition back? And it was like, well, let's put really good single malt into a really, really good sherry cask, but something different. And PX Sherry come around. So the first bottling that they had for a few years was just 10-year-old PX Sherry. That was it. And it was just about, let's sell quality over quantity. Let's get the name of Dunville's back. Fast forward, I think everyone in the industry has done PX Sherry. So a few years ago, like 10 years ago, Shane was like, well, how do we, like, what's the next sherry cask? Because everyone's done PX Sherry. So Palo Cortado, no one was really using Palo Cortado Sherry. In global whiskey, no one was really using Palo Cortado Sherry. And the casks are quite difficult to get. Old historical Palo Cortado, you'd go back and say that they're really difficult to get because they are a fluke. I think in today's world, someone like Al would know a lot better than me, but they're probably young Olorosos in today's world. They're probably tricked into being Palo Cortados. But for us, we actually, I always think I'm a salesperson, so I probably shouldn't insult this too much, mess this up too much. But like sometimes when you don't sell a lot, or you don't sell enough in a year, it's the best thing ever. Because you come across whiskies like this. This was never meant to be 7 years in a Palo Cortado sherry cask. We were never meant to get over 3 years. And what happens is that when your stocks, when you don't sell enough of 10-year-old or you don't sell enough of 12-year-old, all of a sudden you start having these incredible casks at 13, 14, 15, 16 years old. And for this 7 years, it spent half of its life in Palo Cortado sherry. And when you try it, it's so fresh. It could spend another 10 years in Palo Cortado sherry, and it would still be incredible as a 24-year-old. But as I said, this one's 54.5 ABV, 14 years old.
Is that natural cask strength?
It's like 1% difference. Yeah. So with this one is that there's, and I think me personally, I think the world is changing within alcohol. And I know personally I am, like, definitely, I no longer like those 58, 59%. Like, and under 55 I think is perfect. And that's where kind of we're at. We want people to be drinking at natural cask strength. And I think this is where it's incredible. But yeah. What do you think? Yeah.
It is like a nice balance between all of us and the
Sorry? So much you got?
He's an unlabeled sample over there.
It's not, yeah.
Say something about how it's great that whiskey's so affordable.
Even at an Egan, you couldn't afford it. No, it's like, it is quite affordable. I think at Whiskey Live it'll be like, if you're at Whiskey Live, I think it'll be like €125. Yeah, and then after Whiskey Live it'd be like 135. So like, it's not ridiculously expensive. Like with these ones, and we've chatted a lot about this recently. Like bottles of whiskey over 100 quid are difficult to sell in today's market, and we're getting more retailers now are coming to us and just saying, listen, we're more than happy to drop our margin. Just give us something really good that's closer to 100 quid. And we're like, well, we can't really sell you something that's 14 years old at that price. So the retailers are taking a hit on selling it at that price point. to try and sell them. And I think if you're buying this for 135, 145 quid, like you're onto a belter, in fairness.
Can I ask, so you said it's 1% difference on the caster. Is that just because of personal preference, or like who made that choice?
We brought it down. So within our team, there's 3 people. Myself, everyone knows Jarlath. And then there's another guy, some of you will know, not all of you will know, a guy called Niall Bulger. So Niall is head blender, head distiller in Ecklandville. He's the one that we set the task for him every year, where it's like find us 10 single casks that we launch. So he has to find 15, and then we release 5 green labels every single year. And green label is the best. Like we done a green label for James Fox's, a 25-year-old single cask. It's the best of that age statement in the warehouse. So we only will release one of those, 2 max per year, of those kind of older ones, and then of these younger age statements, we'll only release 2 as well. So we kind of release anywhere between 4 and 6 green labels every single year. And the reason for that is that we want it to be the highest quality cask that we have, because the big thing is that the customer's name goes on it. So if we put one into Dublin Airport, like it has to be good because their name is on it. They're going to be proud to sell it. Where if we put it into James Fox's, their name's on it. They're going to be proud to sell it. So with these green label ones, yeah, they're at the kind of top end of the best casks of what we have. So out of those 15 that we select, there'll be 3, 4, or 5. We'll sell 10 casks, roll over 5 to the next year in case we don't have 10 the following year. And then, yeah, so every year we try and sell 10, but around the world. So they're not just all in Ireland. We done 3 there just for Australian Whisky Club. It's the biggest whisky club in the world. So they done 2 14-year-olds and a 24-year-old. So yeah. Yeah, and we done the cigar malt a few years ago. It was like a big.
To Hong Kong, is it?
Yeah.
Where was it? Hong Kong, was it?
Yeah. He's selling this, so yes. Yeah. What do you think? Good. Yeah. They
You
just.
see why Mick said he didn't want to go. Well, we've got Patrick here who's much braver.
Yeah. Cheers, guys. Enjoy.
Give her Dixie, will we?
And now, folks, sorry.
You're right.
And just for folks online, we're going to go to the second on the bottom row. We're going to go to Cologne cask 186 at 60.44. So, drink your water.
Relax. Everything's going to be all right.
We've got looking good hands.
I'm also very conscious that this camera's probably just catching me from here to here, from the breasts to the knees. Is that better? Good. Nobody wants this open. Trust me, nobody wants this open. Yeah, we had to slightly deviate on obviously our wee tour down, along, because I am the person with the prior engagements, unfortunately, because the reason I'm here, and a lot of people are probably going like, who the fuck's this guy? Where's Brandy? Brandy had the audacity of having his 40th birthday party tonight. So here, look, do you know what? To Brent, right here, look, we'll give a wee cheers to Brandy, right?
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, cheers to Brandy, and fuck him for not inviting me to his birthday party. Just before I kind of start, I just kind of want to say massive thanks for inviting us down, and massive congratulations to the guys for organising such an event, because we all know how much effort it takes to put on something like this. To get seats in bums is amazing. To put such a price tag and to raise such amount of money for charities, unbelievable. So, round of applause to the guys. Genuinely. Yeah. It is. It's a really good thing that they're doing. Support it as best as you can, and hopefully I win something in the raffle. So, for those who don't know me, which I'm going to presume is obviously quite a lot of you, so my name's Patrick, I'm a distiller at Cologne. So before we kind of get stuck into the liquid that is Cologne at that very, very high 60.4%, it's good to get an understanding of what Cologne is and who we are and why we do the, quite frankly, boogaloo things that we do, right? So we're a very, very small distillery. We're one of the smallest in Ireland. We operate with a team of 3 full-time staff. So Brendan is the owner and master distiller and head chef. You've got Shenda, who is the manager and kind of the glue that holds everybody together, and I'm a very, very lowly little distiller down at the bottom who doesn't. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Low in stature, high in physicality. But it's as I'm saying, like we're a very small team. We bring in 2 people who work part-time to give us a hand bottling. Farmer's wife Mary and the farmer's nephew Paul, who come in and give us a hand. That's it, that's Cologne. So everything you see out there, you have to remember that there's only 5 people behind this brand. Now, what makes Cologne special and what makes Cologne being able to stand kind of shoulder to shoulder with the guys in this table and along with the other guys in the Irish whiskey business is how we do things and the way and why we do it. So we have an idea in Cologne about trying to bring how Irish distillation used to be to the forefront, right? So we do some very bizarre methods that seem to people now going, that's a wee bit odd, why do you do that? Because that's how Irish whiskey used to be made, right? So things like that would include, we literally mash by hand. I say we a lot in this, by the way, it's me. But I'm going to keep giving we because the camera's on me now at the right height, all right? In case Brandy is sitting up at his birthday party blowing out candles looking. So we do things a little bit differently. We do things a little bit differently than other distilleries, but the reason why we do that is because, as I said, it enables us to be able to come out with distillate like this, right, and whiskies like this. So we do things like mashing by hand, where we literally have a paddle, me, and we paddle our mash, right? So we do that. We operate things like flame-fed copper pot stills, right? We're one of the first distilleries to bring flame-fed stills back to Ireland, right? So we do these very long, very slow, very arduous distillations. So we might run our stills from 6 in the morning to 7, 8 at night, right? The reason why we do that is because kind of when you cook a steak, or like a bit of chicken in a pan, you get that lovely fond. We want to create as much of that at the bottom of our stills as possible because it adds to the flavour profile. That's what gives Cologne distillate and whiskies just a bit of something different to everybody else in the market. We operate the likes of worm tub condensers, which nobody does anymore because they're wildly inefficient, right? But we still do it because we're boogaloo, right? But that's what we do. We do things that are a little bit different. We operate on a different scale than everybody else. We're very, very small. We're putting out a cask and a half a week on average, and that's at full tilt production, right? So we're very, very small. Once we get, for example, like our wort, we throw it outside and take the lids off and we let open fermentation happen. We let the wild indigenous yeast of the area that's local to Cologne, that nobody else has, get in and mix about and ferment, right? So all these weird and wonderful things that Brandy's concocted when he's lying in bed at night and he can't sleep because he's turning 40 today. This is what sets Cologne apart, okay? And the thing about it is, as I said, small sips of this because you have a lot of whiskey to get through after this. This is actually quite high ABV. It's supposed to be quite late. So the thing with this is we are obviously a young distillery. We're only operating about 7 years, right? Obviously with our stock, we don't have the luxury of coming out with a 15-year-old or a 12-year-old. But we like to think our process, the reason we do all these mad things, enables us to bring out what you have in your hands here. So this is a 3-year-old mixed mash bill, all right? Anybody who knows Cologne knows that we're absolute fucking lunatics for oats and rye and things like that. So what we like to do is we like to try and get as many different cereals into our mashes as possible. So mash bill for this roughly is about a 50% malt, 30% unmalt, and then 10% oats and rye, right? So we're big fans of oats. Oats give a lovely creaminess, a lovely texture to whiskey. Gives a really good viscosity to it. It's almost like a custard, a wee bit, and kind of coats your mouth. So as I said, this is really high ABV. We put this in Oloroso cask, actually full term. This is the only cask we've ever done, well, an Oloroso cask, full term. So this is the first ever release that Cologne have done where it is actually a full term Oloroso, okay? So I kind of don't want to give flavour notes and tastings because I kind of agree with you in the same way, Michael, because you start telling people it smells like fucking grapefruit, they're like, yes, right? Yeah, that's it. Like, so it's a little bit, get it into your nose, it's quite sweet, Grapefruity. It's a bit grapefruity. This is the first full-term Oloroso cask we've released. So we finished a few in Oloroso, but this is the first full term.
Fast did this sell out?
25 minutes. 25 minutes. Yeah. So we like. Did you get 3 bottles? Oh yeah, I thought you got 3 bottles. I'm like, no wonder it's sold out quick. Yeah. Stop buying so much. So yeah, get it in your nose. Quite sweet. The Oloroso kind of hits with a bit of gingerbread, which is quite nice. But then when you drink it, you get that lovely kind of jammy apricot, sweet sticky jam. And for such a high ABV drink, it really does carry itself well. You know, it's very sippable, it's very drinkable. Now, we always release cask strength, all right? We want you, the guys, to be empowered with bringing it down to whatever you feel fit, all right? Look, whiskey is completely subjective. People who say there's whiskey people out there like, no, you can have it, no water, no ice, blah, blah, blah. No, listen, whiskey is subjective. Enjoy it how you want to enjoy it, right? If you want to put something in it, bit of Coke, do it away from me. That's grand. But that's what it is. That's what it's all about. So that's why we leave things so high. So this is why it is still 60%, because we want you to enjoy what true cask strength whiskey is. And then you can add a little bit of water to bring it down and open it up a wee bit, which it certainly does. So, as I said, I hope you really enjoy this type of thing. Small sips, come back to it, because if you start going at this heavy, this could become a bit of a fucking siege, to be honest. Says the man who's driving, by the way.
It doesn't drink like 16.
No, it doesn't drink, and that's why we always. I'm sure the guys at these tables are always going, "Fuck me, here he goes about flame-fed stills again." But there's a reason we always batter on about the process and the way we do things. Is because it enables us to be able to sit here with a 60% drink and go, it doesn't drink like a 60% drink. You get all these mad flavours. You get that lovely sweetness from the Oloroso cask. You get that lovely jammy texture. And then the beautiful thing about it is, and as I was saying about the pot, you know, we do run the flame-fed pot stills long and slow. We always get this lovely finish of that very infamous, you know, pot still spice that warms your back. You could sit this down, take a drink, sit down, come back in 3 minutes time, 5 minutes time. You'll still have it kind of working its way down, which is the beauty of what we do at Cologne. So this is the idea of Cologne. You have to understand why we do kind of the mad wee things that we do, and understand the brand, and I suppose a lot of you are going, it makes complete sense. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Does anyone have any questions about it? Tell me how it is, because I can't fucking drink it. It's dry. Why don't we make more? It's me. It's just me.
Is Mary not selling though?
No, Mary's about 67 years old. And she gave up her distilling days quite a while ago, actually. Yeah. So we just get Mary into bottle, and like this is how like.
So the bottles are so good. So and the distilling is.
What about the? Be very careful. Be very, very careful. I think the distilling's actually done bloody well. Thanks very much.
Isn't the oats that kind of gives you your DNA? Because like, there's a lot that runs through this. Like,
yeah. A lot of our mash bills, those who are kind of aware of us, we like to do mixed mash bills a lot. And a lot of those mash bills will be high oats. So this is actually relatively low in terms of, this is 10%, give or take, roughly 10%. But you do get that creaminess. And the reason we bring oats into our mash bills so often, like all we do is talk about oats. We're fucking mad for oats, right? And the oats are actually growing around us in the distillery. If we can get our hands on those oats, we absolutely will. But it's because that's what we used to use. You know, before the days of single malt and things like that, we used to make whiskey with every single grain we could get our hands on. Oats, rye, wheat, no matter what it was, that's what we did. And oats was absolutely so prominent in that. But we love oats because it really complements the style of how we make our whiskey. And when you get the likes of that really lovely creaminess, as I said, that viscosity, it kind of coats your whole mouth. You're left with an entire, all your taste buds get coated and you're like, this is the shit. This is why we do it. And even at such a high ABV, it still carries through really well. And if you put a bit of water and bring it down yourself, it still carries through. But 10% oats is actually quite low. I mean, we release we've done some mash bills, some potchings. I mean, the one we released last week, that was a 30% oats, 30% rye, and the rest heavily peated malt. Sold out very quickly, by the way. But that's what we do. That's why we always do the likes of oats and things, because we always try and bring what our distilling was back to the forefront, because that's what it was before the likes of your single malts and all came roaring through.
The flavour profile of your potching is actually, you can see.
You can see where it comes from. Absolutely, yeah. And that's why we do it, because it adds so much to the distillate. We're completely mad for oats. Every time we can get an oat in, something's great. Anything. Breakfast. Dinner.
It's breakfast whiskey, but
Breakfast whiskey is the thing, yeah. No, if you know Brendan, it's just tea. The man's fucking obsessed with tea. Like, he's just tea, then whiskey. Yeah.
No biscuit, yeah.
Yeah, I tell you, no wee biscuit, yeah. Hobnob, things like that. Any thoughts on it, or anybody got any harsh criticisms?
Really, really sweet.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Oloroso cast that kind of does the heavy lifting, I think, with that. Yeah, do you know?
But I think it's balanced.
Oh, yeah.
It is sweet.
Yeah.
I don't think you're getting those like big Christmas cake.
Yeah. Interesting, yeah.
I think it's the better for it.
Honeycomb, actually. Really well balanced.
Yeah, because you get that kind of like that jammy kind of apricot that comes through a lot, which is really nice. Yeah, love it. For a 3-year-old, and like that's what we're always trying to fly the flag to go. Like if you're going into a shop and you see on a shelf a 3-year-old and 15-year-old, somebody who might not be so unbelievably well clued in will just automatically drift toward it. We're always trying to talk people into it. It's not about, well, not all the time about certainly age. It's about how it's made, it's how the process of why it's done, and the mash bill. That's why we were always, for example, if you would have one of the bottles, every single bottle of Barrentool that we do, we'll give you somewhere a little. It's almost like a. Oh yeah, no, it's a wee card that comes with the thing. We'll give you like a little cheat sheet. This is it. We'll give you an information card, because I know Meg was talking about, giving the people, the consumer, the absolute power of knowing everything that goes into your whiskey. That's what we do. We will tell you exactly what our mash bill is. We'll tell you how we ferment it. We'll tell you how long it's spent fermenting. We'll tell you exactly how much in terms of litres went into each still. We want to give you as much information about what we're doing as humanly possible, so that you guys can go, yeah, do you know what, this is why a 3, 4, 5-year-old might be a wee bit better suited to me maybe than, the higher 15-year-old. That's why we do it. And also they look great in the wee bottles. Anybody else?
Do you think, Joe, as you get older, as the clone gets older, do you think it's going to get better? So along with clone, it has kind of like, I like it for intensity of flavour. Do you think as you get older, it gets more nuanced? It kind of loses a bit of that?
I mean, it might obviously start losing its ABV, which kind of a lot of clone releases are kind of known for, that kind of high punchy ABV. But we released our second oldest cask there about 6 months ago. It was 6 years old. And anybody who's bought it or anybody who's tried it knows that it's still packing the same punch that we want it to pack. You're still getting all that flavour profile. You're still getting be able to taste from what the mash bill is. So not necessarily, no. I mean, it's not going to stop us still releasing our young whiskies, because that's kind of the clone way. We like to be able to go, as I said, 3, 4 years old, we could release it and it'll still taste phenomenal, and we can still have that really high ABV punch.
Yeah, that's quite a bit. So your 3 and 4 year old stuff are as good as your 6-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just trying to get people to maybe understand that you don't necessarily have to look at age all the time. It's all about, as I said, this is why we bang the drum about the way we do things. Everybody must be fucking sick of listening to how we do things, talking about open top fermentation. But that's why, because it adds profile to our distillate that it might not add to, other distillates, for example. Yeah. Okay. Brandy, was that all right?
We've one final question. You could. It's now sold out.
It's sold out, yes. We only do single cask releases, so there was only 180 bottles. So you could have, yeah, but no, not anymore. Not anymore. 129.
Yeah, 169 bottles.
169. Hey! There you go. Excellent. Lovely. Thank you very much.
What time is it now? We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to say to be back in 10 minutes. That really means 15 minutes. We're going to be back at... Yes. We're going to get water. We're going to open the doors. We're going to get things cool. All right?
I'm missing the last ball. Yeah.
We can get you one.
Guest table.
Cool. So I'm going to add your names in manually.
Yeah.
We're up to 573 tickets. So it's €5 tickets or 4 for 20. So
Can I have 100 quid worth of tickets? Gavin McKinley.
Gavin McKinley. Alright. Let me just 100 quid, that'll be 25 tickets. Alright, let me just do this. Copy your name 24 times. That's all you.
And there's yours.
We're the same as that. 100 quid. Yeah, can you get your name? We got Darren Hayes.
Do you need a hand? Are you okay?
I'm alright. Thank you very much, sir.
Do you want a drink or more water?
Do it. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 copies. And that's you there. That's perfect. Thank you. No worries. Was it 5 or 20? 5 or 20. They came from me. So, yeah, so, great. Oh, check. Lillian Shepard. No, that's fine. Order completes a bit. I'm sure you're used to that. So 10 tickets, so that's 9 copies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 copies. And there you are, Lillian. Well, I'm sure if there's Lillian Shepard in the call, I'm fucked. But anyway. Raffle tickets. My phone is currently on the live stream, so you can pay me afterwards. I'll make a note. Well, I'm trying to get you. Can I get your name? Stephanie How many? Oh, Stephanie. it's €5 for one or or 20. €5 for one or 5 for 20 for 4 euros. Thank you. So check on McKenna, enter. So I'm going to copy your name 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Copy. There you go. Yeah, that's your 5. Yeah? Okay, and then I'll keep my head with that versus my phone over there. Excellent. Thank you. I just did the maths on the tickets. If everyone goes to one, discounted tickets, so we've got 25 tickets added to that. It costs us
It's when you start making it available.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing.
Like,
Strong here, yeah. 1-2, 1-2.
We've lost some of our presenters. Unfortunately, had to leave. I see one of them managed to sneak some sample bottles, and he's taken his whiskies away. Other than that, I think we're going to be moving on to our next four. Petter is incommunicado, but sure, we know that we all have to leave at some point. The folks online have been waiting, and my voice is gone for some reason, probably because I have not been drinking. Hey, we got the capuchin here at the centre, and they were like very much like, okay, you are responsible, right? I said, yes, absolutely. Hey! And then when the folks at her table found out that she was, and then the folks at her table found out she'd be leaving, and they were almost already like picking over a dead carcass, being like, what extra whiskey did we get? So yeah, very responsible drinkers here. I'm not going to take any more time. I'll hand it over to Owen from Teeling for, you can see it on the mat, but it's a very special upcoming release, a secret release that we weren't sure we'd be sharing with you until I think not too long ago.
Not so long ago now, yeah. It's all very cut and dry and very fast moving inside here, you know.
So I think even the bottles that came in are, yes, not the real bottles. So, yes,
not the real
hand over to Owen. Right.
Hello. All right, lads.
The happiest man in business.
Jesus, I am absolutely sweating here. You know, it's very, oh jeez, no one wants to do that. You know, it's very rare again to sit in the locker room, 27 degrees of heat across the table from Michael Carmen on a high protein diet, so. I practiced that in the bathroom there with one sock on. So, everyone, it's great to be back with the IWS again. Some of you may know me. I'm going to reintroduce myself if you don't. My name is Owen. I am. Some said sell out there last week to me, so yeah. No, my name is Owen. I'm the account manager for Teeling Distillery. If those of you kind of unfamiliar with the kind of setup on the ground with Teeling, there's 3 reps that cover the country. There's James Fox, or Foxy as we call him, or he calls himself. He will cover the city centre in Dublin. Then there's Dan Megan. He will cover the north side. And then there's me, who covers the country. So I'm pretty sure I got the short straw there, boys. You know what I mean? So I've been in the company for around maybe 7 months or so, and it moves at a breakneck speed of pace as well. A quick question to throw out to the group. Anybody here want to give a little bit of a guess as to how many releases we've had since Teeling has started? Any ideas? Fuck, I told Paul outside when I was having a roll. You can't do that now.
74.
Jesus.
62.
700.
Very close.
352.
With a production team of 8 people, we have released over 670 whiskies. Now, the thing is, it's very small, isn't it? So, I don't know if I'm standing too far the camera can see me at all. So,
I wouldn't worry about it.
No, I wouldn't worry about it at all. Hello Jack, hello Stephen, good to see you. So, basically, forgive me, right, because there are a lot of releases within Teeling. I did take a couple of notes, and I'm very sorry, but I had to do, kind of keep it straight in my head. Is that all right with everyone?
Yes.
On you go. Right. So, oh shit, it's not cancelling. There we go. Now, so pretty much, when Pep came to myself on Instagram, he slid into my DMs, and he basically simply asked me.
Don't say that.
No, man, come on. Oh, Jesus, yeah. So, pretty much though, what happened was, Pep kind of asked us, what do you have coming down the line? What's going to be new, exciting? So I thought the kind of best release or sample to go with was going to be the Rising Reserve 5. So this is the last in the series, but I also feel that it also helps to encapsulate a little bit more of who Teeling is as a brand. Because you all are familiar, of course, with the Revival, the Renaissance, and the Rising series. All 5, of course. Jack seems to love the number 5 for some reason. So it really kind of, I suppose, brings together the kind of maturity of the brand as it goes through those 5 different stages, or 3 release 5 cast series. So some of you are familiar with like the first release we ever had of a heavy aged statement. So kind of Teeling really starts with the simple fact that 16,000 casks were shrewdly bought from Cooley Distillery. And as a result, of course, Jack and Stephen decided, well, look, we'll start a distillery. So from there, pretty much what happened was we needed a way, I say we, like I was there from the start, Teeling needed a way to kind of, I suppose, embolden consumers towards the brand, really get people behind it. And what better way to do that than release some very heavy age statements that are, of course, yes, they are sourced, obviously, but from the family stock, from John Teeling's stock himself as well. So we started, of course, with, it was just called Teeling Revival at that stage. We didn't know we were going to do 4 more. It's kind of like World War I and World War II. So what pretty much happened was as well, we started, of course, with a rum finish. And at the same time, of course, that coincides with the release of the small batch. I'm sure most of you here are pretty familiar with as well, which is the rum cask finish. Both Revival and the small batch are finished off in that rum cask. One is there to, I suppose, support the other in terms of the market releases as well. And then, of course, we went on to release, of course, 4 different more releases in that, I suppose, series 2, which were Calvados, Pinot de Chiron, Muscat, and a mix of brandy and cognac as well. The cognac is a very interesting one as well, or sorry, the brandy one is very interesting as well too, because they would use that to mature honey in as well, which added a little bit of sweetness in the cognac cask as well, which is nice. Each release, of course, finished at around 12,000 bottles. Now what happened was, as we kind of were progressing through those 5 bottlings, the numbers were absolutely all over the place. So we're looking at a 12-year-old release followed by a 15, then a 16, then back to a 13 again. People would ask, whoa, where's the 12-year-old bottling gone? Which one are you talking about, man? Come on. So what happened was Jack and Stephen got together again and decided, right, let's do another release of 5 again, but let's just simply bring this down together. 5 releases, 18-year-old single malt statements, and the best way we found to differentiate that was pretty much through the cask influence from there, to make it a little bit easier for consumers as well. And at the exact same time, we also brought out the Brabazon bottlings as well. I'm sure you all remember. We had a 4 bottling release in that as well. So the Brabazon was more about a vatting of ports and sherries, whereas the Renaissance series was pretty much to do with the kind of weird, wacky and wonderful releases too. So you were looking at, again, Carcavelos, Madeira, Muscat, Australian Shiraz, and again, a Calvados too. So the idea really with that was, just to kind of hone in and just really focus on the cask influences there. And that's where you can really see Teeling kind of taking off and understanding that what is the goal here? It's to do everything imaginable with casks. And we have done it, of course, I think, to a fairly heavy extent as well. So that's the kind of idea at its core of Teeling. And you can really see where the brand comes into its own then from there. Now, what happened then, I think over the kind of, COVID, when we came up to the Rising series then, the idea was pretty much to just fully focus on wine casks from there. So we have, for example, Carcavelos, Ruby Port, Marsala, white wine, and then we, of course, now we have a PX finish in this release, which we are going to sample tonight. And I'll be very honest, this is also my first time sampling as well. This has been brought down to a lovely paltry 46%. If anyone knows, we do not bottle below 46%, because then, of course, our whiskey is going to be non-chill filter from there, okay? So pretty much that is in essence where the Rising idea comes from, the Revival, the Renaissance, the Rising. And of course, at the same time, some of you may have seen, of course, our Wonders of Wood series. We're on the 4th release of that. We might do 5th or 6th. Again, it all depends on what Jack and Stephen are feeling that morning, So pretty much, though, again, we'll have plenty of releases supplanting by other different series of releases as well. So pretty much, lads, if you wouldn't mind, have a little nose, have a little sample. Sláinte. So what we have here, of course, 21-year-old single malt, roughly 12 years in bourbon, and then a 9-year finish in PX sherry. So quite a heavy sherry bomb off that as well, which is personally what I love as well. And I'm just remembering McGuinness's words of PX sherry as I'm going through this. But again, I feel that, I was having this conversation with Paul out the front as well. Within Teeling, I do believe there is something for everyone. Every single taste profile is catered for. You want white wine, I've got you sorted. You want Ruby Port, I've got you sorted. You've got every single bottling under the sun we could have done as well. We also will have a special release bottling for Whiskey Live. It's a single cask release as well. And that is going to be a schnapps cask as well. I had a little sampling of it there. It tastes like a ready-made old-fashioned, actually, honestly enough. I sampled it in the distillery conference room at around 11 o'clock on a Wednesday morning. Lads, it's tough. It's such a hard job, you know. It's terrible. It's tough out there. But the thing is, though, we're going to finish off at around this is going to be the last, pretty much, of the Rising series. Now, also, we're coming kind of towards the end of stock of that age that we have currently. Now, what we might do in the future, and this is coming from Rob Caldwell himself, we will most likely focus on, of course, stock coming directly from the distillery as well, as opposed to ex-Cooley stock as well, which I'm really, really excited to see as well. Again, of course, since we've done everything imaginable with casks, we'd like to focus kind of an inverse and move towards maybe some of the cereals and see what we can do with that as well. So, of course, some of you may have seen our Crystal Malt release too, which is kind of a bit of a foray into different cereal profiling and different aging as well too. So I think there's a lot of kind of cool things coming. So basically, all I'll say is that is the kind of Rising in its core. This is everything you need to know about it from a 30,000 level overview. And I will ask as well, anybody any questions about any of that? All good? What do we think?
What was the second of the Renaissance bottle? If you say it, I'm not going to be able to prove you're wrong.
Muscat.
This is like Christmas cake with marzipan and ice.
It is. It's very layered. It's very deep flavour to it. It's a nice bit of complexity to it as well.
There was a question on age statement. 21.
Oh, 21. 21. Oh, sorry. All the Rising series are all going to be 21-year-old single malts. And that's where we got from the Renaissance to the Rising, the idea to focus on purely age statements and then differentiate with the cask influence from there. That's the kind of idea at its core, really, you know? Yes, sir. So Rising Reserve 4 went for around $2.25 a bottle. $2.25. Yeah. TBC, I would guess in and around a similar value as well. Even like with all the WoW series we had as well. Even with all the Wonders of Wood series, they're all the same price, they're all the same ABV, same mash bill pretty much as well, you know. We kind of try to keep the series releases roughly the same price as well, as best we possibly can, you know. Yeah? All right. Yeah? All right. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry.
There you go. And that's yours.
Thank you so much.
And now, unfortunately, you have to listen to me again. I know. Unfortunately, the folks from Boan weren't able to attend tonight. They have a pack, so they may be listening online, so I'm going to hopefully represent their whiskey very well. You'll notice that this is actually the second Boan we have on the mat. It is, however, a different whiskey. I'm very glad Mick didn't mention it earlier, and I'm very glad that Patrick didn't mention it earlier, the importance of mash bills and the history of Boan, because early Boan, they were a 50-50 malted and unmalted, and that's what the Naggin is. This here, however, is a different mash bill, and I'm not going to pretend to remember it. If Owen can do it, I can do it too. It is a mash bill of 40% malted barley, 55% unmalted, 55% unmalted barley, 3% oats and 2% rye. If you go to the distillery, and there will be a tour of the distillery next month. It's almost sold out. I think there's maybe like 3 tickets left. 2 or 3 tickets left. So if you want to buy tickets, get them soon. We have a great little tasting, but when you go to the distillery, you'll see it's very, very high tech, very, very, like, the amount of like readings they take at various different points is really cool, because what they can do is they actually look at the chemical composition of the whiskey, because when you add like a bit of oats, yeah, you're going to get like the creaminess and you're going to get that, but it's not just about adding something. It's also taking away the unmalted barley, the different proteins, the enzymes, the different things in those, the wheat, the barley, the grain, they all interact with each other in different amounts, and they have played around with it. And as Mick mentioned earlier, the casks they have, this idea of this flavor library of, let's put something at 50-50 into Oloroso. Let's put something at 45, 55 into Oloroso. They're playing around with the mash bills, and they played around with this idea of adding in those adjunct grains, those traditional grains that we would have used in Ireland, in Irish whiskey, adding up to the 5%. Though it's still legally called pot still, where you get a different kind of almost chemical composition that will play into the wood, into the casks. As has been said earlier on, they have crazy casks there. This here is a Greek oak cask, and I know we've got a Greek gentleman in here, Nick the Greek. just throw some. He has nothing to do with this whiskey. I just wanted to. This is. I might be pronouncing it wrong. It's Quercus ilex or Quercus ilex, also known as holm oak or evergreen oak. So it is a different type of oak than the Quercus alba you get in America, the Quercus robur you get in like most of Europe, the Quercus petrea, where the Forêt de Tronqué? Yeah, Hungarian oak, and you also get an Irish oak. Something is called the Cecil oak. So it's a different type of oak, which will give you different flavors. This whiskey was, I'm going to have to look at it again because I'm not going to remember the dates. It was distilled and put into bourbon casks on the 20th of November 2021. So this is just shy of that 5 years old. And it was put into the Greek oak casks on the 20th of March 2025. So it's been in that Greek oak cask for just over a year, and that was medium toasted 200 litre cask. That was the first fill use of it that they had ever done with it. I don't know if it is. I do believe if you buy the ticket to the tasting, you will get to taste the summer sauces.
What was in the cask before?
It's a first fill use, so it's virgin oak. That's what it's, yeah, and that's what it says in the back of the bottle. It says virgin Boan first use. So yeah, this was a first fill oak. It's going to give you different flavors. I'm not going to pretend to have the nose of a master distiller. I'm not going to pretend to have anything like that. So what I did, that's sniping from the sidelines here from our president. So what I did was I gave a sample to Kevin O'Gorman, and I'm going to tell you what he said it tasted like. I mean, I could pretend it was all my notes. He said that it was kind of like heather, and it was like oily. You get pine, you get cedar, you get loads of like deep oaky, woody notes, which you'd expect from that virgin oak, but it's much more pronounced with like the herbal, eucalyptus, black tea. You still get like that caramel, the brown sugar from the bourbon, but it's definitely accented. It's lifted up with bright, fruity, herbal, botanic notes from that wood, which we can only put down to the use of the Greek oak. He said it to me in a public place, so I'm going to say it to you in a public place. Middleton have experimented with Greek oaks. They have Greek oak casks, and he himself used this as an opportunity to say, I wonder how my whiskey's going to taste. So he then went and said, I'm going to go pull some samples in a few weeks and say how my casks are going, because he thought it was really, really interesting. So maybe Boan are going to come out with something ahead of Middleton. I believe will be the first time Greek oak has been at least publicly used in Irish woad. Holm oak, yeah, or Quercus ilex. Yeah. Yeah, and I think there's like a specific type of like botanicals you get in Greece. I can't remember the name of the plant that you get this flavor of. I mean, Nick might be able to tell us, but I'm not sure that man is listening to me. Yeah. So I mean, look, I'm not going to pretend to be Boan's like brand ambassador. I will talk to you about them. They are a family-owned distillery, family-operated distillery. They are operating up in the Boyne Valley. They have got their like Whistler brand series, which of course is sourced from Middleton at some points. It's sourced from I think G&D. It's sourced from a variety of different places. But what they're doing with their Boan releases is the stuff that they've made themselves. So you've had like that 50-50 original release where they were kind of warming up their stills, working it out, and then they, with their distilling team, actually worked and said, okay, here's like the mash bill we want. They have got that flavor library. They have got, if you ever get a chance to go to the warehouse, I'm not sure you'd see it on the tour, but there's like an underground warehouse where they have like they repurpose casks, they rebuild casks, and they've got this amazing variety of casks where they are playing around and putting different whiskey at different strengths into different casks to get this flavor library. And I think it's just a testament to like where Irish whiskey is going. Like it's obviously in a great place now. We've got good whiskey, we've got good distilleries, but this idea of like this building for the future, I think is great. And it's obviously great to see Irish whiskey with our freedom to play around with those adjunct grains, our freedom to play around with the different wood types. That you can't just use oak, you can use different types of oak. That's what we're going to see in the future. And we'll have lads like Mick Kelman from Redacted sourcing it, bottling it into naggins, so we can all drink it at a reasonable price. What do we think? Yeah, pine. It's like pine resin, almost minty, eucalyptus. That like the tea note, like green tea, black tea. You know, like the cooked. Yes, not like a black. Yeah, like a cooked tea. Yeah. Yeah, not like Barry's Gold Label, but no. You're up next, yeah? Yeah, do you need a minute to sorry, I know they sent you the notes, yeah? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll let you click it.
We've only got a couple more. And unfortunately, Mr. Generous back
Yeah, so I'm back again. The lads have asked me. The lads have asked me to present the Copeland bottle because none of them know anything about it. So now I know slightly more, but it's like piano lessons. You just have to stay one step ahead of the kids. Like, you know what I mean? It's Copeland Distillery. It's located in Donaghadee in County Down, and I think it's cool when you look at the tasting mat tonight. There's 3 distilleries from County Down that are on the tasting mat. It is such an unbelievable hotbed of distillation. Like, you know, I'd say, what is there? There's hotbed. Yeah. I'll tell you. I'll see you after. But it's so located in County Down. It is a really now I can't say hotbed. It is an amazing place with a lot of distillation. And so each of the distilleries really has their own unique character and stuff as well. So you think about Cologne, you know, small flame-fed stills, that kind of thing. Dunville's a lot of Oloroso and sherry casks and, you know, that kind of thing. With Copeland, you're getting a lot of double distilled malt and some single pot still as well. So they started back in 2016. They actually ran a crowdfunding campaign initially to get the distillery up off the ground, and they're in an old cinema building up in the Ards Peninsula in Donaghadee. And Gareth Irvine, who's the owner, really great guy. And they started distilling their whiskey, I believe, in about 2019, 2020, thereabouts. And so they've started to release in the last couple of years the 26, this series, which is their kind of reserve series. So they had the 25.1, this is the 26.1. So 5 years old, never any younger. And they did a 25.1 was their first 5-year-old last year, wasn't it? Yeah. And so these are the premium releases from the distillery. And these are really interesting. They have a entry-level series, which is kind of their Merchant's Key series, which is, you know, really good bang. That's what it's got. How is that a joke, Decky?
You might have to explain that one to the audience.
So the Merchant's Key series, which is sourced whiskey, whereas this is all their own whiskey that they do. They also have a amazing gin, they've really great rums and stuff as well. And it's cool that in this one, the rum is actually incorporated into this, that part of the aging process was done in their own rum as well. So before we taste this, I do have to pull up the notes I have on this one, right?
For God's sake.
Sorry, yeah, I got told 10 minutes ago I was doing this. Double wine cask maturation. So ex-Pinot Noir, all right, so you're going to get a lot of that kind of fruity flavors coming through. Ex-Syrah or Shiraz, as our Australian friends would call it, and previously held their rum as well. So double distillation. So again, double distillation, what the characters of double distillation, when you think about it, you're generally getting a much meatier spirit. Like, so it's with a triple distillation, you're getting a lighter spirit. You can often take on more of the cask character over the years. Whereas with the double distillation, what you're getting coming through is often the spirit character carries on over the years as well. So this is 5 years old as well. Bottled at 57.1% ABV? 57.8% ABV. So if you want to give it a little taste.
You wouldn't guess from the nose, but it's high.
Oh, yeah. There's but there's a huge wine character to it. There's like a huge fruity note to it and stuff as well, but there's a really nice complexity. And I think it's interesting with this to see the difference in this as a 5-year-old versus something a Cologne, a 3. You know, we've a decent bit of young whiskey. We have a decent bit of younger whiskey on the mats tonight, like, you know, the Forêt de Tronqué. This that, so it is different and interesting to compare all of them together. Any comments on this one? Because don't ask me any questions, because I know fuck all about it. Peter just said, do you mind? I was like, yeah, go on, yeah, sure.
So, how much is the nagging bottle that you sell?
Like you, it's €30. I believe this, and just on this one, so this one was 155, 125, I don't know. 155?
Oh, he's a blue, so he's
Yeah. So again, all right, just to finish up. So this actually did win best single malt under 11 years old at the Irish Whiskey Awards last year as well. So I think that's a really important point to point out as well.
Today they revealed 26.2.
26.2 came out today. First peat. Yeah, so 26.1 is this. 26.2 just came out, their first peated malt. They do really great whiskey. Garrett's a great fella. And thank you very much. Cheers, lads. Thanks very much. Yeah. You have to really get away for these two shams.
He's done a lot of heckling.
100%.
last guys to go.
So we have the last one.
Heckling me for years to take, so this is a pleasure that I get to heckle them.
I've deliberately heckled him all night so he can give me a bit of a backup now tonight, you know. So let me grab my glass. So good evening, ladies and gents.
Society. We
sorry.
We try to keep it local, so they presenting the whiskey from Donegal. But they know everything about the liquid. They know everything about the distillery. So
and everything in general.
Everything in general as well. So
I just need to go.
There you go, lads.
My name is Paul Costello. I am the head bad decision maker at Dram of the Month. And this is Daniel Pennington. He's the brains behind Dram of the Month. The reason we're standing up on front of ye tonight is because Michael O'Boyle is down with the man flu, and you know how serious that is. You know, seriously. And Patrick Sloan said that they were one of the smallest distilleries in Ireland because there was 3 employees. I can tell you the Buailloch Distillery is the smallest distillery in Ireland because there's 1 employee, right? Michael O'Boyle is the start to finish, end of story. From distilling to bottling, everything included. Michael O'Boyle drives an hour and a half to post the bottles out to you. So he is the only employee. We're standing here, unfortunately, we're not getting paid. You're not getting paid. But what I will say is he was.
None of us are actually.
Michael O'Boyle was gracious enough to give us early access to his Oncade bottle that we're all drinking tonight. The cask strength is on the table tonight. He was gracious enough to give us early access so we could bottle and pack it in our boxes for monthly subscriptions, and they kind of went out at the same time. We were a small bit early, sorry about that, but they were a small bit early. It is exceptional whiskey for us, and we've been huge fans of Buailloch Distillery so it feels like a decade to me, but it's 2020, 2021. And I'll tell you the story how we kind of fell in love with it because it's quick and simple. I hate mentioning, you said it a while ago as well, I hate mentioning the word COVID, but we'll all look back in rose-tinted glasses at the Zoom calls that we all had. And the first time I met Michael O'Boyle was through a Zoom call, and this big, bushy-haired mountain man was on a Zoom call. It just turned out that he hadn't seen the light of day for 4 months because we were all locked in, like, you know. But he had such passion for the spirit that he was making. And at the time it was Mulroy Bay, it was an Irish poachine. I was probably a year short of when he first released it. So when this Zoom call came on with Cork Whisky Society, it was meant to end at 10 o'clock. We finished at 3 a.m. and we were talking mash bills, and we were talking all sorts of interesting stuff that I can't remember anymore, so long ago. But we struck up a bit.
Presented tonight.
Exactly. We struck up a bit of a relationship with Michael, and subsequently going forward and zooming through time, myself and Dan went up and laid the concrete in Bailick Distillery. Like, you know,
And we don't lay concrete.
we don't lay concrete. We don't lay concrete. But we said. When there's, I think a lot of people in this room can consider, when there's such a small boutique distillery, that if someone has a call, I need to lay some cement, like, you know, like, all right, yeah, but I've never done it, but like, you know, I'm a gynecologist, but like, you know. We laid it, we had a great time up there, and we've subsequently had
We have great friendship with him.
Friendship and 6 or 7 casks in the difference between us. So, look, let's get this to noses, because we've had a fantastic night.
We've a WhatsApp group full of 50-litre casks and 25.
Exactly, yeah. Michael Coben is involved in and there's a couple of faces down here tonight that are involved in multiple casks. So, can I get hands up? Who has bought Bailick Distillery's liquid? Let's say Mulroy Bay, let's say their rum, let's say their whiskey. Yeah, it's a good shot. Fair play, yeah. Fantastic. I'm going to give the mic to Dan.
I have a mic.
Actually, yeah. Dan's going to go through the tasting notes because I don't have a clue, right?
So let's have a nose, have a taste. My name's Dan. So we'll tell you what it is first of all. So this is a blend of 3 casks. So first of all is a single malt in ruby port. The single malt is malted barley, and there's 10% of caramel malt, which for all intents and purposes is crystal malt, as you know it. All crystal malt can be caramel malt. Sorry, other way around. Try it. All caramel malt can be crystal malt. Caramel malt, it can also be kiln fired, that crystal malt can't. There's also a mixed mash bill in 2 hogsheads, and I'm going to grab my notes because I can't remember the mash bill.
Jesus, Dan.
So the bourbon hogsheads were 50% malted barley, 15% oats, 7% rye, 28% unmalted barley. So there's also, what Bailick does is very much like Cologne, long fermentation, open top fermentation, and Paul was talking about us laying the concrete outside. So when we were laying the concrete outside the distillery, what we didn't realise is there was an IBC open, and we were passing tools across it, and I'm pretty sure concrete fell inside the mash that was going on. Exactly.
That was a rum, so we're safe tonight. We're safe tonight.
So this is bottled at
58.7, is it? 54 pints.
It's almost pink.
Yeah, it's a colour that he's had a couple of casks of this. So 4 days ago we were glad of it, but a great friend of ours, Dean Fitz, he's a part of the Cork Whisky Society. He has his own cask laid down. It's not whiskey yet, but it's coming on very close, and it's incredible because the colour is very similar to what we're looking at now. It's this strange orange, I call it iron brew.
But I think a lot of that comes from his ruby port cask. A lot of the ruby port casks give a lot of that colour. They also give kind of a blue cheese kind of note.
Yeah.
So
this is I think anytime I pick up a Bailick, you go, there's blue cheese.
And that comes from a lot of his port casks.
But I don't get it from anything else. I think you pick out a Bailick.
What's very interesting about Bailick is that, from what we found out, is when you buy some really, let's say, new make or poachine or something that's been aged for maybe only 6 weeks or less, blue cheese is literally all you can get. And as that same spirit is in the cask and it ages, which we've done, it disappears and it dissipates and it becomes this lovely rounded, it's hard to describe, but you see, if you're talking about blue cheese at the start of something, it's hard to describe it as something else after the fact, you know? We call it cheddar. No, it dissipates after about a year and a half, thereabouts, and we have casks up there that are coming on. What's the oldest cask is around maybe coming up on 3 years.
I think, yeah.
We have a cask that's coming up on 3 years now, and literally, like, you take a sample of this and it's like, what is after happening to this? It's gone so dark. It's after the blue cheese is gone. You know, so what we're tasting tonight is the start of Michael O'Boyle's journey in whiskey. For such a small boutique distillery, and for Ireland to have something so unique, like 50, so he'll say he can make 50 casks a year. I'm sorry, that's bullshit, right? He has the capacity. So he bought his first still in 2019, and it was from Serbia, and it is the most interesting, the most interesting looking still you will ever see in your life. And I'm going to use interesting, right? Interesting, right? But the distillate that we've tasted from that interesting still has been some of the finest poachine and new make that we've tasted in the island. He's upgraded ridiculously since then. So we're talking, he's in the process of 6-7 years now. He's bought a Brazilian still, a 1,000-litre Brazilian still. The first still that he bought was a Serbian 310-litre still. That's how small we're talking, right? He's now, and I have to say, he's still a one-man band, right? So the Serbian still is there as a little museum nearly at this stage, right? But he has a 1,000-litre still from Brazil, which is absolutely amazing looking. Michael's just after asking how big is the distillery, right? So a lot of people in this room will have been to Killowen. Quarter. I won't say quarter, it's the exact same, right? It's a little cottage on the hill in Carrigart in Donegal. It's a homestead, what was. Michael has his house 20 yards away, and I'll give a lovely little story. When myself and Dan were up, right, he was growing, so Granahache is a yearly harvest that he grows. It's literally the fields around the man's house. Is he rents out the fields, whatever he can grow, he harvests, he distills, right? So myself and Dan were up there, and about 7:30 in the morning, we were up, we were wandering around, and next I heard, what's going on here, like, you know? Here's Michael out in his shorts and his t-shirt, banging
and welly boots, just
banging the crows away from the grain, right? So the soil up in Donegal isn't great, and the grain was that high from the ground, and the crows were tall enough to be able to take the grain from the heads of the actual stalks, right? So he's like, "Get away, you fucking bastards!" Right? No, I thought it was hilarious, but tasting that Granahache, the amount of hassle that man has to go into to take this from harvest and actually distill it, it's not worth anybody's business, like, you know, honest to God. But the Granahache every year gets better and better and better. There's about 4 acres maybe. I'm probably being a bit generous now. It's probably around 3 acres of land. That Granahache is sitting there, and unfortunately it sits there for it's a couple of months he's selling it. For what feels like a decade again, I wanted to call Buailg Distillery Irish Whiskey. It's been so long since I've been waiting to call Buailg Distillery Irish Whiskey. It feels like a decade, but it's only been a couple of years. This is to me, it's up there with the best, right? I'd love to hear your feedback. No, I have one small little thing. Does anybody know what Baoilach means in Irish? No. So, does anybody know why Baoilach Distillery is called Baoilach Distillery?
His name is, it's on the edge. His name is Boyle on Boyle. It's the same powers on Puero.
Correct and right. And what was his nickname?
This one.
Baoilach was his nickname, and Baoilach is direct translation for dangerous, and the man is still dangerous. Has everyone brought it to their lips?
Finished it. Yeah, that's great.
Fantastic.
Now, lads, just Sláinte, just put out there, this is still available. He did a cash rent version. Yeah. He did a cash rent version. There was 300 bottles of each cash rent and a 47.8, I want to say. Yep. Lower AB version. They're both fantastic. 300 bottles of each. I think he has about a third of that left.
Yep.
And the man is happy to leave it sit there. He doesn't overly push it. He goes, look, if they don't sell, I'm going to put them away. These are my kids. These are my babies. Do you know? But if you want to buy a bottle, they are there. And that's about
honest to God, though, like I've spoken to him before, given the amount of effort he puts into distilling, like, you know what I mean?
So what he's actually doing?
Currently, Dan will explain what he's currently doing.
What he's actually
It's
doing,
so small it is.
because it doesn't pay him to do all the work all year round. So he's essentially going to distill this summer, and he's going to have a distilling season every summer because it doesn't pay him what he's doing. But he's passionate about it. He makes amazing whiskey.
If anybody has enjoyed what's in their glass today, just consider that he's so small, he has a window of about 12 weeks every year where he'll distill what we're drinking. You consider what we, like, look, congratulations tonight, because this is absolutely the best flight I've had in a long, long time, honestly. Honestly. It is the work that Pep's put in, because it's been months in the planning, the work that man has put in, and the Irish Whisky Society as in general, it is an amazing flight to have, and I know Michael O'Boyle is exceptionally proud to have that on the, you know, the pinnacle of Irish whiskey at the moment. Now,
I'm very happy to have that on this, because it's the first whiskey from him as well. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like, you know, on Cade, it kind of like, who knows what the future holds? But I was having a joke with Patrick earlier, saying, like, you know, he's like, Baoilach's the smallest distillery. No, Killoran's the smallest distillery. It's nearly a contest who can be the smallest distillery in Ireland. You know, it should be the other way around. Everyone should be buying from the smallest distilleries and making them bigger. Now, on that point, what's that? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, look, thanks a million for hosting two absolute newbies that are only 10 or 15 years in whiskey, like, you know. Pep, thanks a million.
Thanks for inviting me.
It's an amazing charity. The lovely tie-in, right, and I'll leave it at this, the lovely tie-in, the first time that I met Michael O'Boyle was through Ian Garrett, and Ian Garrett has done stellar work for the Capuchin Dare Centre as well in the past. So it's a lovely round circle. I have no bottles of Baoilach whiskey to sell, but there's a man, Michael Coleman, has naggins to sell. So if anybody has cash in their
I'll donate one into the charity as well.
Thanks a million, lads.
Yeah, thanks a lot, lads.
Yeah, 5 minutes break and then we do that.
10 minutes.
Oh yeah. Hey, we're going to do a very short break, and then we're going to do the raffle. We're going to get the prizes ready. We're going to then try and scoot through pretty quickly, because there is.
We're going to last through it. So
Yeah.
10 minutes break, get back here in 10 minutes, and then we're just going to fire. just in case anyone is worried, if you want to get a redacted naggin at the end of the night, there are sales still available. So let's move along with it.
So we have, I'm just going to, as a little pat in the back for the Irish Whiskey Society, we have sold 640 raffle tickets. Most of those are going to be at the 5 for €20. That's €4 a ticket. That's about €2,400 in just raffle tickets, plus like 3.5, 4K almost from the event. We're looking at probably close to 6K. And Mick's donating every sale of the Naggin bottles. So we have a randomizer wheel with all the names put in. It's too small to read, so we'll just hit it. The first prize is Alex Suchu. He's not here tonight. He's online because he's got a young baby.
How it's going to work is, please, the quicker you make that I don't have to shout, the quicker we get through this. So I'm going to call out the prize, then I have my Debbie McGee /Matt who's going to press it and who's going to turn the wheel. So the last one that got called was the 150 Sunday roast voucher for the Legal Eagle.
And that goes to Alex.
Thanks, Gav.
And that was Alex.
Sorting it out.
Next we have is the €120 brunch voucher for the Little Washer restaurant.
Thanks, again.
Thank you.
Darren McLaughlin.
Beautiful. Okay, the next one we have is a fantastic voucher, €100 voucher for the Irish Whiskey Auctions. Thank you so much.
They couldn't be here tonight, but they are very good supporters.
And
that
very
goes to
kind donation.
James Nugent. Not in the room tonight.
It's okay.
This is actually for the restaurants.
Don't worry. Don't. So we have to. So next prize we have, as we've talked about it so much tonight, we have an overnight B&B stay in the Carnlough Harbourview Hotel. I have 2 Debbie McGee's. I love my life.
Charles Roach. Not in the room tonight. No, you lose.
Okay, so our next prize.
Charles Roach.
Charles.
For the member. Charlie.
So our next prize is 2 tickets to Christie's Whiskey Festival. Me. It's AI lads, it's incorruptible. Grand. So the next one is Middleton Very Rare 2020.
What's me again? It is Sinead Clerkin.
Niall, you should get some photos. Niall, you should get some photos.
Next one.
Okay, sorry. So we are following up. Do not make me shout. We are following up with some Redbreast Muscatel single pot still.
And it's going to
Chef the chef. Gorgeous. And next we're going to follow up with the Short Cross 8-year Stitch and Weave exclusive.
Ooh.
He's watching.
To Derek Nolan.
Our next one is going to be the Dunville's 1808 2025 Whiskey Live exclusive.
This is last year's exclusive.
Yeah.
It's going to Michael Maguire.
Sorry, postage and packaging is extra.
We need up the long way.
Are you saying the
Only got me the egg shake and all this. It's not working. Seven more steps.
I can have it if you don't want. Like I don't mind. Yeah. Okay. Woo! Thank you for coming all this way, Nick. Gorgeous. Okay. Next we have the Hinch 23-year-old single malt, the Corkscrew exclusive.
Mick the Pear.
Right, next we have Suntory, the Yamazaki Distillers Reserve Single Malt. It's going on.
Derek Nolan again. Are you sure? You sure? You bought multiple tickets.
Let's open it.
You bought multiple tickets. Like, I mean, if someone buys 20
Next we
tickets.
have, from a very kind donation from James J. Fox, the single malt stout, bourbon and sherry cask. Thank you very much.
Going to. I pushed the wheel too late.
I can't see.
Me. I also bought a lot of tickets.
It's not unusual for the
To be fair, Matt was trying to get as many donations as possible, so.
I'm starting to win that because I donated that bottle.
Our next one is Ackle Island Distillers with their single malt.
Number 11.
Alex suits you again.
Well, Alex bought like 23 tickets.
No, that man bought more tickets tonight. He bought like 50 tickets.
You don't pay, you can't play.
Yeah, it's all recorded. Yeah. So our next prize is 2 stacks, triple cask, single pot still.
And the pin is back.
And a little baby and a pin to go. Oh my.
Joe McLean.
That was the strangest thing anyone's ever made.
In the room.
I feel like you need to high five all the way up. I feel like you need to high five all the way up when you're coming back. Okay, so this one we don't have in tonight, but we will organise to someone. So it's the Tipperary single malt red wine finish cask.
And it's for someone I think isn't in the room, Cornelia Keller.
Ah, amazing! Well, that works.
That works out great. So that's, just say that prize again, just for we have a.
So that is the Tipperary single malt, the red wine finish. Gorgeous. And then the next one that we have is the Tipperary single cask X Sherry Octaves.
Donated by Alex, who's won 2 prizes. So like, oh sorry, my bad. He's donated a different, Dimfna Reed.
members as well, so hey!